Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The DRFBets race of the day for Friday, March the 29th, weekday graded stakes action. Race number 9 at Gulfstream. We're going a mile on the turf. It's the grade 3 Appleton stakes for 4-year-olds and up. We got plenty of stakes races at Gulfstream. Santa Anita on Friday. Bet them all with a DRFBets account. When you sign up at bets.drf.com and deposit $50, you get to bet with $200. Let's meet the field for the grade 3 Appleton. You can download free Formulator Pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, beginning with the number 1 Cowboys Hero, in good form, taking a gigantic step up in class.
Yeah, it's a big class test for this horse, but there's really no knocking what he's done in his last couple of starts anyway. This trainer has done a good job with this horse since he's taken over and decided to make him a turf horse. I thought he ran well, Dan, in both of his last 2 starts. He's just facing a different level of competition here. It's not going to be easy for him.
Another horse stepping up in class is the number 2, Dr. Edgar, who has finished first in 3 out of his last 4 races, including a professional win over a bunch of kind of weakish non-winners of 2 other than optional claimers at Gulfstream. What I like about Dr. Edgar is he has the ability to be forwardly placed, and that could be very, very valuable in a race like the Appleton, as we see from our Timeform US pace projector, which has Dr. Edgar, the number 2, out there on the lead, and he can do it on the lead.
Yeah, he can do it either way. He's a tactical kind of horse, but you know he's going to be forward in this race, and it does feel like the way this thing shakes out, he just might be out there cutting the pace. I guess that gives him his best chance, Dan. I have no knocks on the form he's been in since Barclay Tagg took over as trainer. I mean, he's run one good race after another. It's the first time they're really going to test him against horses like this. I suspect it's going to be tougher for him, but he feels like a pretty dangerous horse in this race.
He seems like he's on the improve, but I understand what you're saying. You remember the Dr. Edgar that was basically a $20,000 plater a couple of years ago, and it's hard to imagine him in graded stakes, but Barclay's gotten him good right now, and maybe he can get loose on the lead. The number 3 is Holiday Stone, and this horse goes out for George Weaver, and I thought he might have been a little bit pace compromised last time out in the Canadian turf. Krampus got the jump on him turning into the stretch. I mean, it's not like he was 100 lengths out of it, but it's been a while since he won, and that was at Saratoga when he got a perfect trip.
Yeah, he got a great trip in that race and managed to get the job done that day. Since then, it's sort of been, maybe let's say in and out for this horse. He has had a couple of tough trips. He had a really tough trip 2 starts back in the El Prado where he just never came clear to run. The problem is his other 2 races down here this winter in the tropical turf and the Canadian turf last time, I don't know. I thought he just ran okay. He didn't do anything really special in there. He can get a good trip in this race, and I suppose he does have a race in him that would make him really tough in here. He's not my kind of horse. He doesn't win. He almost never wins, and I feel like he's the kind of horse who never got better from the time he was a 3-year-old till now.
The key to this race is the number 4, Hawkish, and you and I were waxing poetic over Hawkish last year at Gulfstream, a hulking 3-year-old that won the Penn Mile in impressive fashion, and then he ran the Belmont Derby, and he was 5-1 against Catholic Boy, who came back to win the Travers. Now, after that race, Jimmy Toner said, we'll take it easy, he's growing, want to run him in the Hill Prince in October. Well, that obviously didn't happen, so something must have happened to Hawkish for him to return off make a return off such a long layoff here in Friday's DRFBets race of the day. I think from a pure talent standpoint, this is a great spot for him because he might have the most talent and the most upside.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, he's going to be a short price in this race, and taking a short price on a horse who's off a 265-day layoff, sometimes that can be really difficult. I don't think that Toner could have found a much better spot for him, though, if he's going to come back in a graded stakes race. This horse showed real ability as a 3-year-old, and coming back off the bench here, he seems to be training very well for Toner. I believe he said he planned on stopping on him after that Belmont Derby, but he did want to bring him back, and he just wasn't training that great, so they decided to give him the rest of the year off. He's back now. If he takes any kind of step forward as a 4-year-old, this field might be in big trouble.
And Jimmy Toner is just one of those underrated trainers. He doesn't get a lot of preps, and he's great off layoffs. Here's a limited positive formulator fact for the Toner barn. Of the past 4 years with horses aged 4-year-olds and up, returning off 6-month layoffs or greater on turf, 3 for 9. 318 ROI, and that's not easy to do. The 5 is Krampus, who goes out for the great Bill Martin. I just thought this horse took advantage of kind of a moderate pace last time out. John Velasquez gave him a great ride. He was able to sort of find this horse's tactical speed, get him into the race early, sort of tucked inside behind a loose leader, went after him on the turn, but I do give him credit. He held off a really nice horse in the stretch.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he ran a nice race last time. He won that race with the best trip in the race, but he still got it done. And I mean, let's go back through his PP since he debuted down here in December of 2016, and he had a really tough trip that day. where's the race that you want to point to for him to just suggest he's not that
Never
good? I
won a
mean, he
bad
just
one.
runs, he shows up every time. I like the fact that Johnny V in particular, he's ridden him twice. Both times he gave him the same trip. He puts him right up close to the pace. He won both of those races. That was a quality win last time.
And I think if John could have his pick in this situation, he'd love to get up close to Dr. Edgar here, because I think he feels that Krampus is better than Dr. Edgar. Timeform US has him a little bit further off the pace. He has won from further off in the past. Here's a Bill Mott formulator fact with horses going third off the layoff. Last out winners at that, ages 4 and up in turf routes, 33% winners, a $3.20 ROI. The number 6 is Uncle B, and I have to be honest with you, Mike, when Uncle B finished ahead of 3 of these horses last time out in the El Prado, I thought he ran really, really well. He attacked on the turn, he made the lead, he was chasing a hot pace, and he just got tired late against some solid horses. The problem is, like Dr. Edgar, he's never really struck me as a graded type, but this is a nice horse in very good form.
Yeah, really, really good form. And obviously he's going to lose 2 really good riders that he had for his last 2 starts in a race like this, but I won't knock anything that he's done since this trainer has claimed him. She's really gotten him good, and he did run really well in the El Prado last time. At the end of the day, he just couldn't hold on at the end, but he did a lot of work early in there. This horse ran an excellent race last time.
Not sure the 7 Vichi's a miler. Not sure this is his best game. I do trust Michael Maker, though, in these sort of situations. Last time out in the El Prado, he ran okay. Finished behind Uncle B. Thought Uncle B ran better than he did that day. Tropical Turf, sort of a similar situation. Thought he ran okay. Just didn't really get over the hump. He has run his best races sprinting.
Yeah, he's just a much better horse sprinting on the grass. If he was trained by anybody else but Maker, I would have dismissed him out of hand. Because it's Maker, I took a second look. I still don't like his last 2 races going longer.
The 8 Uno Amayo has a stakes win on his page, but I think those stakes races, we don't do a very good job there in our PPs. Let's be honest. That is a starter stakes race. It should be a restricted race. It was not the greatest field in the world. Let's give Uno Amayo credit. He came from far back to win that day, but he was also competing for 12-5 4 starts back.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't look like he fits in a race like this. Again, we already talked about this trainer since she took over the training of Uncle B. She's done a great job. She's done a good job with this horse, too. It's gotten this horse good. It feels like he's in way over his head here, though.
The number 9, Dr. Mounty, we were just sort of waiting for him to finally step up and grab the brass ring as a late developing Shug McGahee horse. But let's be honest, turning into the stretch of the Tropical Turf, he had no chance.
Yeah.
He was rallying a little bit down towards the inside. He got to the outside under Javier. And then it just looked like part of a stagger fest down to the wire. He got there. I think he was aided by a hot pace. I've always been a fan of this horse.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to take 3-1 on him if I'm not convinced he's going to get a barbecue up front.
Yeah, I don't really want him at any kind of short price either. I don't want to really knock him either, though, because he shows up and he runs every time. It's interesting when you look at his PPs too, because he's won 2 of his last 4 starts, both of them in graded stakes races, and both of them at a mile. It feels like this is really his game. Last time, listen, did he run well in that race? Yeah, he ran well in that race. He also had a lot go well for him in there. Heart to Heart was the big favorite, had a real trip early, couldn't get the trip he wants in there and didn't fire. The horse who was cutting the pace was a stretch out sprinter who clearly didn't get that far, and the race just almost fell into this horse's lap. He ran well, but I think he'll have to run better than that against this field.
That being said, he does run strings of buyers between 90 and 95. Let's take a look at our top selections for the DRFBets race of the day. Mike's going with Hawkish. He might simply be the best horse. Now, the layoff is a concern. I know you would not play him if he goes off at close to that 2-1 on the morning line, but he might simply not only be a horse to watch in Friday's race of the day, but a very important horse to watch down the road if he just develops slightly off of his 3-year-old form.
Yeah, if he could take a step forward and keep himself in regular training this year, he could actually have a big year. I don't think he wants to go very far. I think the mile's perfect for him. And if he shows up running in here, I don't know, Dan, I didn't really see the alternative that I wanted. I'll just take this horse on
Good
top.
spot for him to make his 4-year-old debut. You're going 4, 5, 9, and 2. I'm hoping the Timeform US pace projector is right, and maybe they leave Dr. Edgar alone on the lead. We know that Julian Lepereau is an expert on the pace rider, and Dr. Edgar's just been in good form. He just has to prove it against these better horses, and maybe catching Hawkish off this 200-plus day layoff is the key to Dr. Edgar. He's 10-1 on the morning line. Mike's going 4, 5, 9, and 2. I'm going 2, 9, 5, and 6 in the Grade 3 Appleton Friday's DRFBets race of the day. Make sure to sign up for a DRFBets account. When you do at bets.drf.com and you deposit $50, you bet with $200. With DRFBets, it's as easy as ready, set, bet. An approximate post time for the Appleton, 5:38 Eastern on Friday. Best of luck.